Last week we stumbled across a forgotten BMW E28, a 40-year-old 5 Series that had been rotting on a farm for over 5 years, and against all odds we got it to fire up. It coughed and it spluttered, but it came back to life just long enough to drive it back home, on the back of a tow truck. In this video we dig deeper and chase down what's stopping this car from actually running right. And hopefully by the end, we get to take it on its first drive in 5 or 6 years. And my first drive in this car ever. Last week we got the car running with a few little minor modifications, but now we're going to fix up the front end and hopefully by the end of this week it's actually driving. There are a lot of things we got to do on this car, including a lot of electrical work, but I'm going to start with the simplest thing, and that is fixing the wiring under the dashboard here, which has the fuel pump relay in it. I want to put the actual socket back because we have pretty much fixed the problem with it. And by fixed it, I mean I'd found that the ECU was not grounding the fuel pump when you turned on the ignition. So to bypass this, I've wired it straight to the ignition so that it only comes on when the car's on. All right, so we now have the fuel pump wired up to a ignition ground, which means that when I turn this on, it'll come on with the car, or I can have a kill switch which actually manually turns it off, and this is now this switch because I don't think this actually did anything before. Because it was plugged into these external wires, I think someone was using it to power some sort of LEDs, but they are not plugged in anymore. Because this car is swapped from a 2.8 litre to a 3.5 litre and manual converted, the wiring on it is a little bit of a mess. So before we get into anything, the first thing I want to do is replace this one terminal here that's completely kind of fallen off the main battery terminal. Hoping that's not for anything important, but we're going to fix it now anyway, so should be good to go. And don't worry, I've still kept the relay in place for the fuel pump, so in case any electrical problems, it should still blow that before it damages anything else. As you can see, we have the dash pretty much back together. Everything kind of works. We do need bulbs in the back. They're all blown, it looks like. They're all corroded. For the most part, a lot of this is back together. So next thing we have to sort out is the idling. It's idling really rough at the moment. So we've got a new air intake, new spark plugs and new spark leads, and we're going to put them all on right now. But before we do any of that, we're going to try and adjust this hood cable, the bonnet cable, so that it's actually functional, because at the moment it's kind of very stretched. By loosening up these pins and pulling out the cable a bit, we've managed to get it so that this is more functional and actually opens the hole for this to go in. So the bonnet should come open now. So since we got to do spark plugs, I'm going to show my mother how to do spark plugs on a 41-year-old BMW.
It's younger than me.
That's true. These are our plugs. They should be pre-gapped. Most NGK plugs already are pre-gapped. Now, unfortunately, I'm aware this is just basic maintenance stuff, but this is just all part of the restoration journey. So before I do anything big to this car, I want to make sure it runs and drives right, because we still have the brakes that don't work to deal with. All right, now that we have all the new sparks on, we can throw on the new spark leads. Now, there wasn't really anything wrong with the current plugs or sparks, but I wanted to refresh them just in case, because they have been sitting for a long time. So now we have all the new plug wires on. We're going to put the air intake on and then see if it starts. In theory, it should work. Quite a nice intake. We just take out the interior parts. Having a pod filter on this kind of car isn't ideal. I would like a proper air box to hold it, but this is just temporary till I can find a frame that I can mount this inside. And it's an added bonus that the intake sound with a pod filter sounds a tiny bit better. And no, it doesn't add any horsepower, so don't believe everything you hear. That looks pretty good now. That makes a big improvement to the look of the motor. Now we're going to actually see if it works. Now, if this minor maintenance didn't fix its idling issue, then it's just one of a few things causing it: an idle air control valve or the airflow meter. But before straight up replacing them, we're going to see if cleaning it makes any difference, as well as find any possible vacuum leaks that may be in the motor and try and seal them up. Still pretty rough. As you can hear, it's definitely still misfiring. It kind of sounds like it's cammed at this point, but it's definitely not. The next step was attempting to get the front bumper back on the car, as the previous owner had taken it off to service it and put it on ramps. So now the fun part is figuring out the order in which all of this goes back on. Putting the BMW's bumper back on was not hard, but the problem was we were missing a bunch of little clips to help secure this thing in properly. And now it's looking properly like an E28. Obviously we have to screw a few things back in. So another thing we have to replace is this line to the fuel pressure regulator, because as you can see, it's kind of split. And because the car isn't idling properly, I'm going to take this off, clean it, and then seal it with some tape just to see if that makes any difference for now. And then I will buy a new one of these very shortly. As you can see, there is a big split in it. There's only two main sensors on the intake of this car, an idle air control valve and an airflow meter. If excess air is getting into the intake or escaping after one of these sensors, it'll throw out the idle of the car because it'll be totally confused. But it still doesn't want to idle. So instead of wasting time on this right now, we're going to attempt to bleed all the brakes on the car and hope that we can at least get the car to drive forward and stop properly for the first time. Right now, we're going to attempt to bleed the brakes on this car, which means every corner of every wheel we have to take off and manually bleed them the old school method. So we're going to see if this works, because with a vacuum bleeder, it didn't work. So I'm hoping there's no major blockage in one of the lines or the master cylinder's not gone, but we will see. Despite the car not bleeding using a vacuum bleeder, I wanted to try it with a very old school method and hope that maybe it would clear any kind of blockage. You know, this is a very safe and proper way of doing things when you're jacking a car up on grass. How do you feel about this? Meh, should be right. So Jeremy is pumping the brakes, and we've actually got fluid coming to the back wheels, which is the first bit of fluid through here, and he can feel pressure. Keep going. We're using a very old school method of just keeping some fluid in the bottom of here so that if any goes back, it fills the lines. It seems to be working and the air is coming out. But unfortunately, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. The back two brakes bled very well, but when we got to the front, that was a different story. So we've run into a minor problem with this side. The bleed knuckle is completely rounded off, the screw for it, so we can't really get a bolt on the wrench on there properly, and we have managed to get it off with pliers, but still no fluid coming through. So question is, now we're going to take this brake line off the back and see if maybe there's any fluid coming here. If not, then I guess we have a hard line problem. So while the wheels are off, we're going to clean them up and chrome spray them for now until I have time to get the original rims that came with the car, the BBS style ones, properly refinished, because these are actually off an E38 M5. I have honestly no idea whether these rims are legit or not, but either way, you can pick a decent setup for about $500. These are already in pretty bad shape. And we need new tires before this thing actually gets registered, so we don't even have to worry about overspray. So we're still stuck with this caliper not getting any fluid. I don't know whether it's the bleed screw that's the problem, or one of the lines is clogged, or something, like the caliper's not working. I'm leaning towards something to do with a line, because we appear to get fluid at the hard line down here, but we don't get fluid through this line. So I'm going to try and take this off again now and see if fluid comes through when we pump it. And thankfully, it seems like my diagnosis was correct. We did have pressure through the hard line, because when I disconnected the soft one, we had brake fluid spray out of the hard line. So this means the only culprit to our front brakes not bleeding was the tiny little soft line. But good news is, this is the root of our caliper not getting brake fluid. The hard line squeezes out fluid just fine, but there must be a valve in this line that is completely clogged, and it's all split and cracked anyway, so we shall get some new ones. I think this is quite literally the darkest I've ever been. This is crazy. So unfortunately, that tiny little brake line is the reason we cannot finish this car today, and it will be another video where this car doesn't move off my front lawn. Because unfortunately here in Australia, it's very hard to get parts quickly for these kind of cars. You have to order them online or get them made, basically. So there'll be a 2 or 3 week wait time unless I can get it made at a local shop, which is what I'm going to try and do this week. But for this week's sake, I'm going to upload this video and you guys can see the progress we've made so far. It doesn't look like a lot, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks it'll be running and we can actually get it on the road and do the cosmetic touch-ups to it. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully the next video will show a little bit more progress than this one, so stay tuned.